Howdy, howdy, everybody. Welcome back to Nerds Hell. It's me, a racist zombie.
And it's me, a corgi named Johnny Cash.
I love Cowboy Bebop. And,
Mm.
and,
Yeah.
that's your dog, right? That's your little
Yeah,
corgi?
that's my dog. I should have said Ein, but I wasn't, I don't know. I'm like, fuck Ein. Who's Ein? My dog is the better one. Is the better corgi, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited
Yeah.
because I'm finally in an apartment that's pet friendly. Next week, my grandma's coming to visit, and she's bringing me my dog, Filomena. She's a tiny black pulley, and she's getting up there in age, right? So she no longer wants to stay in a house with 6 children.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, so now she's gonna
Damn.
come to the retirement home, which is my place. I'm gonna get her a bed. I'm gonna get her. I honestly wanna just start getting raw chicken, just feeding her raw chicken along with dog food and rice, just to keep her
Mm-hmm.
happy. Her favorite food is raw chicken.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
she prefers it over beef, which is
Wow.
hilarious.
Well, I mean, like, dogs can do that, right? So,
Oh yeah, dogs can eat raw food. Like it's better for them to eat raw food, like raw unseasoned food. It's perfectly good for them. Rice is
Yeah,
also.
you see, that's where humans fucked up in evolution. We had to cook our food so we could get those nutrients.
Ooh,
Get
lots
those
of protein.
extras.
Lots
I
of
know.
proteins for big brain. Big brain so
Yeah.
we can do good speech. Speaking of good speech, my fun fact for video games is Resident Evil. Probably one of the most successful horror franchises in the world. The first Resident Evil, however, was one of those like pave the way type of games, right? It's not the
Yeah.
best, but without it, we wouldn't have what we have today, with one of your favorite games being Resident Evil Village. Am I correct?
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, like, have you ever played any of the Resident Evil remakes? Like 2 or 3?
I have played 2, and my chair was dirty. I'll leave it at that. My chair was dirty when I was done.
Your chair was dirty. Okay, so one of my favorite things about the whole Resident Evil series is that they decided that Capcom was going to go back and then redo all of them. So you had Resident Evil 2 remake, then it got really popular, which meant that Capcom was like, oh shit, we can actually make money off of these video games and this IP that we have. And so then they decided to go for Resident Evil 3 remake. And now that they have like Resident Evil 8, right, which is Village, it's one of those of like, man, there's this conversation about how video games, like single player video games, are dead in the water, that no one wants those anymore, that they just want like the fucking new shiny multiplayer video games. Because I'm sure you remember back when you were like in high school or whatever, when the whole Fortnite crowd and the multiplayer and everything was multiplayer and everything was a battle royale and everything was, just this incessant multiplayer kind of stuff, that they're like, oh man, video games are, as far as single player, are dead. So, yeah.
Which I refuse to
no.
believe because while everybody was playing Fortnite, I was getting my groove on with the portly plumber Mario and his
Right?
Odyssey, and
Yeah.
everybody's favorite twink Link in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. I honestly at first liked Super Mario Odyssey less than The Legend of Zelda until I played Super Mario Odyssey, and I changed my opinion because it's one of those of which is the game that I keep going back to year after year. It's probably Super Mario Odyssey. But which of the games can I have more fun doing, like in a non-linear kind of path, right? Because there are people who do speed runs of like Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild in 5 minutes with like Link in his underwear with a bunch of sticks. So,
Just how
how
we
is that
want
going
him.
to be? Huh?
Just like we want him.
Just like we want him naked and beating up a cloud or whatever he was doing. So, still,
Bro, I love Smash Brothers. Anyways.
yeah. So,
back to
anime history of the fact.
Oh, wait, no,
right? Or,
back-
sorry, oh, you're not done?
I
Okay, great.
don't.
Go ahead.
Back to
Yeah.
Resident Evil. The first Resident Evil holds the Guinness World Record for worst video game dialogue ever.
They're all bad, dude. Like, they're all bad. Like, every part of the 90s and every part of, like, video games in the early 2000s, they were all bad. They're all bad at being... I'm a JRPG fan, right? All of the dialogue is fucking horrendous. Like, one of my favorite games of all time, Dragon Quest XI. It sounds like voice actors from a soap opera giving lines.
Emilio, pero te amo, Emilio. No.
Exactly, dude. Like, I'm not talking about anything like fantastic, but that's like the whole part of the charm of JRPGs is the fact that you have these people giving these really stale dialogues, but with this weird inflection and tone to where it's almost unwarranted for the type of like what they're doing. So, yeah, like what is it? In Dragon Quest XI, there's this little girl, Veronica. Well, she was a big girl, but then like magic got stolen from her, so she's a little girl. And the first time that you meet her, she goes, "What? That is ridiculous. You bumped into me." And you're just like, "Oh, ooh,
Oh,
no, thank you. No,
I didn't
thank
know
you.
this was going to be a bad game.
You're just like, "Oh no, this is what time of game this is." And then you have like Sylvando, right? Who is obviously we stand a queen because Sylvando, in the name of like, he is so overtly homosexual. Like, you have to understand that like Japan really doesn't know how to do homosexual people or even like gays or lesbians or like really anyone, honestly. So Sylvando kind of comes in and he is just like over the top, like as flaming as can be, and he is perfect. And I love him because in his quest you go on like essentially a pride parade with his crewmates where he's dressed up in like a feather outfit and then you go beat up some fucking dragon. So
I'm pretty sure that's how the movie Jojo Rabbit ended.
dude, that movie is honestly really funny too. Have you seen?
It's fantastic.
Yeah?
Yes.
Dude, Taika Waititi is so funny to have play as Hitler because he's New Zealand. He's from New Zealand, right? And Hitler was obviously really big into racial purity, so having an a Polynesian man playing Hitler is really funny. So there you go. But hey, you know what else is really funny? Do you know what the longest running anime is?
I want to say One Piece, but I know that's not correct. I think it's Cased Closed.
It's not actually.
Huh.
There is a anime called Saze-san, which was. You want to guess how long it has been going?
Oh yeah, Sasesan, starring the Sausage King of Chicago. So I'm gonna assume it's been going since 1804. So 3,000 episodes.
You kind of like overshot that one, my guy. But
I'm gonna say 1904 then.
No, it's October 5th, 1969.
Oh,
that is the first broadcast date.
So is it still getting new episodes, or is it just still being aired?
It is currently in production.
What's Saze-san?
It is currently being produced. Saze-san?
What's it about?
So Saze-san is really kind of like a slice of life anime or a slice of life kind of stuff. It's almost like boomer humor comics, but for Japan. But they still produce like these episodes too. I'll send you a little link to it, but it's essentially these main characters that move from this like little island of Kyushu to Tokyo, and it sort of deals with these situations of moving from like a small town to like big town life. And considering that Japan is like now having one of those things of like Tokyo becoming a really like massive mega city, because everyone wants to move to like the inner city instead of like going out and staying in like, you know, these islands or really any other place. That a lot of people actually still really identify with the characters in the comic book and the manga, anime, because it first came out as a manga, and on April 22nd, 1946. You know, back when World War II just was over, and one of the things that is different from like Japanese comics that I've mentioned before is that Japanese comics didn't have like a comic book code, and so a lot of adults bought comics, especially like manga, back in like after World War II because they were cheap to produce. You could buy a stack of comics for really cheap, like the price of what a movie ticket would be in Japan. So it was a really easy entertainment for people to get into, and Saze-san is one of the very first, one of the biggest, like, slice of life anime, manga, you name it. So,
I get
yeah.
You. Oh, yeah, no,
there you go.
That's actually interesting. Because I thought it was going to be One Piece, but I remember seeing, like, when One Piece had, like, 800 episodes out, Case Closed had, like, 1,000 episodes out, and I haven't even heard of it.
Yeah, dude.
I
No,
haven't even.
Saze-san has over 2,500
Saze-san.
episodes.
All right, let's see. I've literally never seen this man in my entire life.
I've literally never seen this again. Seen this here. I'll send you the fucking like Wikipedia link right now.
Did I
So
spell it right? I did spell it right. Yeah, we're looking at the same thing. I've never seen this man in my entire life.
yeah, right. Because it's one of those, but still, like you can tell, it's got the boomer humor shit to it. So
Yeah, of course.
yeah, 100%.
I'll be completely honest. I kind of like I kind of like old school boomer humor, like the stuff you would find in Reader's Digest. I remember this one I saw that I thought was funny. Then I saw it again like years later. I'm like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. But it was this one where a woman has like wet hair and she's got it over her eye. She's like, honey, could you pass me my hair dryer? And the husband
Oh
passes
shit.
her a gun.
Oh no. Yeah. Wait. No. I think I have seen that one though.
Bro, everyone has. That one's the big boy. All right.
Oh man. 100%. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, boomer humor. I hate my wife. So let's go with some quick fire news right now. Get all this out of the way. So first and foremost, do you know Sebastian Maniscalco?
No, I don't know who that is.
He is a stand-up comedian. Do you know Bert Kreischer?
I've heard of him before, but no, I'm not like aware of what he does.
So he's also a stand-up comedian. He's making a movie right now. So Sebastian Maniscalco went on Bert Kreischer's podcast, The Bertcast, and in hour 1:35, second 13. So Bert's like, "So what are you doing today?" And Sebastian's like, "Oh, I got to do some voice acting later today." Bert's like, "Oh, what you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm in that new Mario movie. I'm playing this guy Spike." Spike, yeah, I'm playing this guy Spike. So,
Right.
turns out that Foreman Spike is going to be the new Mario movie. For those who don't know, Foreman Spike is the main character from Wrecking Crew. He's the foreman. And in other iterations of Wrecking Crew, where you can play as Mario and Luigi, Foreman Spike is their boss.
Oh.
So they're pulling out some deep cuts for this Mario movie. It kind of gets me excited, but we're just going to have to see. Because, like... It's like one of those Sonic the Hedgehog movie wasn't movie of the year, but it was way better than anybody expected. It had no right to be half as good as it was, and it wasn't even that fantastic. But
Man,
for
fun
that
little
reason,
fact.
we loved it. What's up?
Fun fact about that is that a friend of the show, Savannah, who was on the Joker podcast, right? So we saw Sonic the Hedgehog as our last movie before the pandemic started. Because her birthday's right around spring break, and then it was during spring break that they called for us to go into quarantine. So it was straight up like that was the last movie we saw in theaters until we saw Mugen Ring, like the Demon Slayer movie.
Hey. I remember I was during the pandemic. I was so desperate to go to the movie theaters. I watched Tenet.
That you watched Tenet.
Yeah.
How was that? Because I'm pretty sure that like Tenet is just another self-masturbatory film by Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, so on the Robinson scale, it gets a 2 out of 5. Because if you want some dumb action with some cool special effects, go ahead, watch it. But oh my god, the story is impossible to follow.
The story's impossible to follow.
Yeah, because it sets it up. Because the whole thing is that items can be sent back through time. Because like, there's like an action scene in the beginning where it's like, "Go, we gotta save the hostages," and then bullets start traveling backwards, right? Instead of going forwards, bullets travel backwards into guns, and the main character's like, "Yo, what the fuck?" And then he gets called in by a secret agent, a scientist, and she's like, "Yeah, we can send things back in time now. Look, this gun sucks in bullets." So it seems like a cool premise at first, but then it just gets more and more and more confusing as you watch it.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's not great. That's not good. What the fuck is that supposed to be? I don't know. Like, here's my problem with Christopher Nolan is that he does so well on these movies. Like the Batman movies, right? They were really good. Then you have, I don't know, Dunkirk. That was also a really good movie. But he also likes to do his real, like, little fucklers trick with people, where he's trying to be M. Night Shyamalan, but decently, or decently, how do I say this nicely, competent as a filmmaker and director. It just gets tiring from time to time watching his films. I'm just like, man, I just want to be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
Can you, like, chill out for a second?
I mean, as an action movie, it was honestly pretty cool watching people moving forward in time, fight with people going backwards in time. That was pretty cool. But everything else, like everything that isn't action, just was some of the most confusing things I've seen in my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shit, dude. Well, I mean, if you want some action, you know what's great action is those legal lawsuits as far as we go in the United States.
Yeah.
So, one of the biggest things that I have an issue with is archiving things, right? Because as someone who appreciates history and as someone who appreciates all the games and everything, it's really difficult for us to archive games because then we also have to archive the technology that came with it, right? So if you want to play the original Super Mario Bros, then get that feeling, then you have to get like a CRT TV, then you'd have to get the like NES, and you have to play it that way. Well, ROMs, a lot of the communities, they just rip the game from their cartridge or from their older technology and they put them online so people can play these older games. Well, if you don't know about Japanese property law, Japanese copyright law is one of the most brutal and one of the most vicious copyright systems in like the entire world. Like their copyright law is so brutal that it literally gives them permission to go after people like in other countries, which is one of those things of like, how the fuck do they do that? Because, you know, how, right? How would that even be a thing? Well, Nintendo is one of those people that have been trying to fight the ROM system and trying to fight this stuff because their thing is it's our IP and it's our software and our technology and you're ruining it. Well, there's this website called ROM Universe, where folks can download pirated copies of like various Nintendo games and even pay like a premium to download it for faster. And they were already sued in May of this year. But Nintendo is not really done suing ROM Universe. In new court documents, a judge ordered like the owner of ROM Universe to destroy all of his Nintendo ROMs, or they're going to have, quote, brazen and mass scale infringement issues. Meaning apparently they're going to raise it from $2.1 million to basically like $2 million for every video game that he has from Nintendo that's on there. So,
jeez.
Yeah,
well, Nintendo,
right?
if you don't want us to get ROMs, just re-release the games, damn it.
Yeah, so the judge gave the website until August 17th, 2021 to comply, and until August 20th to file a declaration with the court verifying that he's actually followed through. Or else, you know, he's going to face, like, charges of perjury because, you know, you're lying to the court. So, yeah. I don't know, like, if Nintendo came up to me and said, hey, we're going to sue you for $2.1 million, I'd just be like, please don't. I do not have that money. I really don't. If you're going to sue me for $2.1 million, you might as well just make me into a fucking Nintendo slave because I have no way to pay that back to you.
It's funny how one of the companies that's seen as the friendliest towards the community can also be the most brutal company against its own community.
Nintendo fucking hates their customers. Like, I honestly think that at some point. Like, I think Nintendo really does hate their customers because you remember the whole thing with the Etika controller?
Oh, yeah.
How the fans were, like, trying to make fan-made controllers for the Nintendo Switch after Etika, who, you know, passed away was it last year? Was it just last year or a couple of years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago. May he rest in peace.
Ooh, Jesus, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay, yeah. So... But Nintendo, they just hate their customers. Like they do. Remember when that whole thing, they would actually pull Nintendo stuff off of YouTube and then like copyright it and that kind of stuff. Like they're vicious with their copyright shit. And it's really apparent. One of the biggest complaints about like Super Mario, well, not Super Mario, but like Paper Mario, I recently, during the ice storm, when the snowpocalypse happened back in February, I actually got some time to play Paper Mario because JRPG, and that might as well be an RPG.
Yeah, which one?
And Paper Mario and the Origami King.
Oh, I really like that one.
Yeah, well, a lot of people were complaining, especially because Nintendo did not give creative licenses to make new characters.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, we're kind of tired of there being a Toad, but with like, oh, look, he's got a turquoise vest. This is our Toad from Santa Fe. And,
I know exactly what you mean. And audience, if you want to learn more about this, just YouTube search Arlo and Paper Mario. He's got like 17 videos on this.
Yeah, but like that kind of shows you how much Nintendo is super protective of their IP. And I get it, right? As someone who's a creator of content, aka I've published a history thesis and now I'm doing this podcast, is I understand that they don't want people to like manipulate their work into something better. But if Nintendo doesn't understand that like that's what happens to popular media, is that it gets warped and it gets reshaped into something different. Like, think about how many people actually know the story of Heracles. And then they're like, okay, well then what's the Disney version of Hercules? Right? Isn't that like a myth that has been changed for fucking ever? Like, every single society changes the myth to what it wants from that myth. How it like deals with troubles, what it prides itself on, what are the values that they have. And Nintendo needs to understand that like the people who grew up with Super Mario, which is either like Gen X or millennials, we are getting older. And we understand that whole thing because we grew up with like the first Super Mario. The first Super Mario was super boring. It was super bland. It was groundbreaking for the time, but like Jesus, compared to Super Mario Odyssey, it's almost a non-thing. Plus, didn't they create new characters in Super Mario Odyssey with like, when you go to the Mexico level and they have
you
like
got me there.
The skulls? They have they have you dancing around as a Sugar Skull Man.
Woo! Yeah, so the issue is that they don't want any spin-offs to be able to create new properties because they don't want to like muddy what Mario characters there are, which I think is completely stupid. Because
I mean, they introduced real people into Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, they did.
Like, so I guess that means that Mario is some kind of fucking freak, that he's like, or that their idea of Italians are like what Mario is, and that everyone else in the world is just a regular person.
Yo, this is some deep commentary from Nintendo.
I am not with Nintendo. This is some deep commentary about Nintendo, my guy.
Well,
yeah.
Speaking about the first Mario, which arguably has some of the most recognizable music in the series, Koji Kondo's birthday was 2 days ago. So,
oh shit!
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Koji.
Yeah, thank you, Koji. Brought us.
I mean, not like I know him, but fuck, like, hey man, happy birthday.
Brought us music for the Super Mario and the original Legend of Zelda's. Like I said, some of the most iconic music pieces on Earth. So happy birthday to you. Your company's being mean. Make a song to serenade them into being nicer.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Tell your bosses to eat a dick. I don't know.
Do it through musical form, like that one episode of Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah, fuck yourself.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, the other thing that I kind of like had for this podcast was I was going to talk about the Countach, right? The Countach, the you remember the car that Dennis Reynolds essentially wanted for Christmas in that Christmas episode, It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Like that Lamborghini. Well, apparently they're making it a hybrid now. They're making a Ferrari into a hybrid, right?
Sweet. Now I can put actual horses in this thing. Biofuel, baby.
I know. It's one of those things that you don't really expect it, right? Because it's a Ferrari. Not Ferrari. It's a Lamborghini. So like, how are you gonna have like this Um, how are you going to have this V12 engine with a 48-volt electric motor? Uh, it I don't know, man. Like it makes me kind of go, okay. I mean, I understand that they're trying to fight climate change, but there are better ways to fight climate change than having a Lamborghini that is a hybrid, right? They're basically
That
making the
maybe
Prius of sports cars.
that maybe 70 people will buy on Earth.
Oh, yeah, because, like, Lamborghinis are, well, historically known for being super easy to afford if you're, like, Jeff Bezos. But,
Yeah, exactly.
you know,
So he
whatever.
can buy all of them and save the planet. That way nobody has to drive a terrible car.
I'm still, like, trying to find what the gas mileage is of this thing. Because, I mean, it's a hybrid, right? So, obviously, if it's a hybrid car, they're wanting this to be, you know, a hybrid, right? Because hybrids are supposed to get better gas mileage. And it's not like Lamborghinis are known for, like, sipping on gasoline. No, they're like a frat boy at a party. They're chucking that thing down. So, shit.
I'm pretty sure I've seen a frat boy drink gasoline once, and he vomited almost immediately. I'm not even
He
sure.
should.
I'm not even
He
sure
should.
if the liquid passed his lips. Just immediate vomited all over everybody. I was happy because I was on a balcony watching it all. Oh,
Oh, yeah? Yeah. I mean, dude, the Countach or the Countach on the Lamborghini's website says that it has 7 miles per gallon for in the 1990 Countach, right? Like the last one.
oh yeah,
And this one, they might double that. So you get 14 miles an hour,
bro.
14 miles a gallon.
Bro, that's so cool. I can drive to work and back on a single day. It comes with a backup battery so you can charge it as you're driving. It's the only way you can drive it.
Now you just need to make sure that you get like some coat hangers for the door so that you can close it and that kind of stuff. And make sure to get some cheesy poofs mixed in with some chocolate. And there you go. You got yourself a car. You got yourself a fucking car, man.
Oh, Danny.
I don't.
Danny
I don't know
DeVito.
if I had money, I would not buy this car.
If I do want an electric car just because I want to be free from gasoline.
Yeah.
That's just it.
But are you
I
gonna
just
fall
wanna
for the
save
Tesla
money.
fanboy shit, or are you
That's
gonna
the
go
thing.
something else?
I kind of don't want to, but if it honestly is the best available electric car, yeah, I just want
Dude,
the most bang for my buck.
buy the electric Ford. The Ford truck, the Ford F-150 is being electric now.
Ooh,
You can even get like the Mustang, because the Mustang is like called the Mach E. It's a fucking dope car. We saw one when we were in New Mexico.
nice. Ooh.
Yeah, they're supposed to be better than they're supposed to be better, if not like approaching the Elon Musk, whatever his fucking Teslas are.
Mm.
But we have someone, a family friend, who owns Elon Musk Tesla, and basically says it is not worth it. So yeah.
Every time I turn it on, all I hear is cat girls.
every time I turn it on, it tries to take my DNA so it can make a clone of me as a cat girl. You know,
Oh,
you need some more head pats, Nyan.
neon. Speaking of cat,
Neon?
speaking of cat girls, Pokemon is getting a Pokemon Presents, not a Pokemon Direct, a Pokemon Presents. You got to get that
Okay.
alliteration. It's coming out this
Yeah.
Wednesday at 6 a.m. And we're going to get information on Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Pokemon Shining Pearl, and Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now, to be completely
Yeah.
honest, I was pretty darn disappointed with Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Oh shit! Is this something that we're gonna have to like argue, or not argue, but go on to rants now? Because I got some rants about that. I I I have some very strong feelings about Pokemon Sword and Shield.
we got 1 minute until the break. We can come back explosive. So
Fine.
not super excited for Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond. It'll be fun to revisit those games. But what I got my eye on is Pokemon Arceus, because an open world Pokemon game where it's like real time in world battles. That looks like it's going to
Yeah.
be fun. I will say that the trailer they showed at E3 was not promising because I'm pretty sure they ran the game at 6 frames per second at that time. So I'm hoping.
Oh.
Have you seen the Pokemon Arceus trailer that came out and that Direct?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, I swear the footage was at 6 frames a second.
Wasn't there like a Pokemon game that came out that was under some controversy? It was like the MOBA game.
Oh,
So it was like
Pokemon
League of
Unite.
Legends, but for Pokemon.
Yeah, so the only controversy I will say is that it is incredibly pay to, it is pay to win. It's not a ginormous advantage by any means, but if like you're the best player on the world with no upgraded items, you will get your ass whooped by a medium player with all maxed items. Speaking of
So essentially, it's a pay to win
Yeah.
game. Then. Okay. Thanks, Niantic or whatever.
and
No,
I
not Niantic.
I actually enjoy playing it. Snorlax is my boy. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're going to be back after these breaks. Speaking of max items, I have to max out my items. Bye.
Whatever that means. And yeah, man. So that's like what my bowel movements look like. So
You know what? I'm proud of you. It takes guts for that.
it takes a lot of guts and a lot of pushing, but hey, it's worth it at the end of the day. And a lot of ab workouts. Oh fuck, we're recording. Great. Well, anyways, speaking of utter fucking shit, I fucking hate Nintendo Sword and Shield. I fucking hate it so much. I love
Nintendo Sword and Shield?
Yeah, well, it might as well be Nintendo, right? Because Nintendo is publishing this, but Game Freak used to actually be a company that people would be proud to work at. Now Game Freak is just literally a cash grab for whoever is doing this, because Nintendo is 100% one of the most profitable franchises in history. Like, it beats out Harry Potter, it beats out 007, it beats out like Lord of the motherfucking Rings, which is one of my favorite pieces of media, and I still fucking
Nintendo
love
or Pokemon?
No, Pokemon. Dude, Pokemon.
You said Nintendo again.
Sorry. I don't care, because they're basically two synonymous things. Like, I was talking about how Nintendo fucking hates people. Niantic, not Niantic, god damn it, Game Freak might as well be that way too, because now the Pokemon company has taken over, and you know what they're doing? You know why they're doing this? It's because they can make more money selling, like, merchandise than they can selling actual games that people want to play. Dude, Legend of Zelda got an update with Breath of the Wild. Mario got an update with Mario Odyssey, and then got an update before on the previous generation with, I don't know, the Galaxy game that they had. Isn't that Mario Galaxy? So, 1 and 2 were both great, and he keeps evolving. Zelda keeps evolving. Link doesn't just sit there and, like, you have a top-down environment where he pokes people with a sword. So, okay, Nintendo Sword and Shield. What were they going to do? You mean you have one tiny area that you get to go around and roam, and graphics that look like a Nintendo double screen, right? And a Nintendo DS game. And I paid $60 motherfucking dollars for this game, you cheap little fuck sticks. That was a real fuckler's move, my guy, to actually have someone do that. Because tell me, man, I don't know shit about game design, but I could probably do something better than that Nintendo piece of shit Pokemon company piece of shit tree that they had, or the grass, or anything. Like, the bikes can't even go off high ledges. Wouldn't that be funny if, like, the bikes went off the high ledges and then just, like, rumbled down the hill? That would be more interesting than it just, like, boom, you hit a wall and the person just stops. Like, there's no even reaction to it either. Like, they didn't even animate that in. They spend a lot of time having, like, Pokemon, like, you know, oh, let's have them walk around and let's make 40 fucking things of curry. But God forbid if we actually put anything else into this game other than that. Like, I don't know what to tell them about this at this point. Like, Pokemon Company, y'all are fucking awful at making Pokemon games. Which is something that makes my heart fucking break, because I love fucking Pokemon. Pokemon is like one of the greatest series out there. Pokemon was there for me when I was a kid. Pokemon, like, fed me, like, soft little bits of serotonin to my brain when I was a depressed little child. And okay, great. Now to see it grown up this way, to be essentially the same game that I played since I first got my very first Pokemon game in 1997 when I had the motherfucking flu and my mom felt bad for me and she got me Pokemon Red because, I was in bed for 2 weeks. So, yeah, like, fuck you, Pokemon Company. Fuck your face. Fuck your mom. Like, that's the kind of thing that I can't understand is you want to cater to these fans. You want to have a generation of gamers grow up that they can buy more of your merchandise. Make some actual good fucking games, you shits. Like, that's it. I don't get it. I really don't. Plus, the whole thing that got me upset about the last thing is not the fact that they didn't have all the Pokemon there, which, let's be honest, Robinson, they have the ability to put every single Pokemon ever made, all 1,000 of them, into the Pokemon game. They do. They have the ability to do this. You know why they didn't do it? Because they spent too much time on the walking animations for, like, their Pokemon prison yard system. So, I don't get it. I really don't. I think that they could have had something here, and especially because they're going to what a, quote, British island kind of feel when it comes to Pokemon and the Pokemon worlds, which is interesting. I would watch an entire television show about that. But they fucked it up again. Like, it's one of those of, I just don't know. I don't know what to do as a Pokemon fan. And now they're wanting us to, like, pay to have Pokemon stored for a monthly subscription service. So you're telling me you want me to pay money, like actual physical money, into a server that can save my Pokemon from other games that I can crossplay into other games, rather than just not, program it into the fucking game like a normal person? Dude, video games sometimes make me fucking mad. And they make me mad not because of the shitheads that are on there. The companies make me mad. I love Call of Duty. It's one of my favorite garbage games that I like to enjoy. It has, like, as Nakey Jakey says, the goopy goblin goop all over my fucking face and my brain. Because it's just run here, shoot this, run here, shoot that. I died. Okay, now I get to repeat the process over again. It's action. But Pokemon was then a jumping point for my love of JRPGs. And they fucked it up again. They could have had an entirely new generation of kids who, let's be honest, and this is going to be my only boomer moment for the time, basically are just like goopy goblins all the time. They must have goopy goblin stuff. Even at school, they must have goopy goblin shit. It's one of the reasons why I spread my lectures with violence and rape and murder and torture, because they need something that will pique their interest along the times of, okay, now we need to go over what the fucking Tax Act of 1878 is. Ooh, what do you think that could be? Oh, I don't know, maybe the taxes. But still, they could have had some actual JRPG fans from this moment, but they decided to throw it all away. Like, even Dragon Quest evolved with the times, and that's saying something. Like, yeah, the turn-based play is old. It is super old. But if you play something like Dungeons and Dragons, that's just what you do. And if you're someone who enjoys Dungeons and Dragons, then you'll like Japanese role-playing games, because they are that, essentially. The biggest thing, though, outside of all of this, that got to me was when fans were essentially had a childlike meltdown over which Pokemon was in the game and which was not, which they were justified for, because one of the reasons Pokemon is able to actually spread this long is because you develop a character, you develop something that is personable to you, right? For me, it is motherfucking Gengar, because I like the fact that he's a fat little ghost that smiles, and he looks like basically a rapist that died. Like, that's no joke, dude. He does look like, you can't argue with me on that. He does look like a rapist. Like, it's one of those of, yeah.
Gengar used lick.
Like, he's essentially a Pokemon that, in some of, like, the lore, is apparently he's a dead person. He is a dead person who turned into a Pokemon. Are we not going to talk about how that's kind of fucked up, right? Is that basically human spirit can be captured and a motherfucking ball by a 10-year-old on his Journeyman's like series and that kind of stuff. But still, I love Gengar. I've had like Gengar as like my mascot for fucking ever, and there's a lot of other people do too. But to just have that kind of disregard for other people's like characters that they love, right? Like if you ever watch the Jimquisition, James Stephanie Sterling's their Pokemon is motherfucking Ekans. You know, snake spelled backwards, motherfucking Ekans. That person. And they didn't have Ekans in it, right? Okay.
Wait.
Or Lickitung, right? The actual, like, Pokemon that represents Cunnilingus, Lickitung. That's the Pokemon that is there.
Alright, so Ekans spelled backwards is snake,
Yep,
right?
and Arbok spelled backwards is Cobra.
What about Muck?
Muck? Dude, Muck is just a basic Pokemon for garbage and trash. He is a
What's his
Pokemon made
name
out of
backwards?
pollution.
What's his name backwards, though?
Muck? It's K-Cum. Right? I don't know. Not all of them are that into it, man, but still. I don't know. Like, it's... but, like, to get to my point anyways, is that you had people throwing this tantrum, but it was deserved, honestly. It was deserved. Now, like, the Pokemon Company got the hate that they had for the Pokedex stuff, and then all of a sudden, people took it too far and started, like, you know, attacking the devs, which, again, fuck those people. You took something, you went from being a person totally within their right to be a little upset about a video game, and then decided, no, I'm gonna threaten murder against someone. And you know what happened? It hurt the argument. It gave the Pokemon Company, a fucking out. It gave them a fucking out, and then all of a sudden you had a bunch of people who were like, we want to show our appreciation to the devs. We want to suck their dicks and, you know, like, wipe their shoes. Please, senpai, more. And I was legitimately upset about that. I thought, y'all are basically deep-throating a company that has multi-billions of dollars and, like, a legitimate copyright system on your childhood. So why are you defending them? Like, I understand that you should be thankful to the devs because the devs have some of the shittiest working conditions in modern history, right? We can agree on that. Computer video game programmers are crunched all the fucking time. It's not a secret. Everyone knows about it. We just choose to ignore it until something happens like, oh, geez, I don't know, Lickitung doesn't get into the fucking video game. And then people lose their fucking mind. But still, that whole thing of like, oh, we need to thank our devs for being so awesome and giving us this new game. Okay, yeah, sure, thank the devs, but then don't make that as a campaign for like, oh, the other side has no valid arguments then. Because they're just not thanking the devs. They're not doing the hard work. They don't understand. I don't get it, man. I really don't. It's just like back when the pandemic first started, when a bunch of people were like, oh, we should thank teachers. We should thank first responders. We need to thank grocery store workers. And then you know what happens as soon as, like, oh, geez, I don't know, the grocery store workers or the teachers or the nurses started asking for more money? You know what they did? They reversed it again, and now they're just like, oh, they're just wanting to be lazy. My parents, I remember talking to my mom, and my mom was like, we just wanted to express our gratitude for you being a teacher, and I was like, yeah, I don't fucking care. No, please don't. Like, that's awful. That's cringy. That's so fucking cringe. Don't fucking talk to me about this. And they're like, but we're trying to show our appreciation. And I was like, you're showing your appreciation now because it's convenient for you to show your appreciation. It's contrarian to show your appreciation. All of a sudden, when we're asking for things, when we're asking for better things, you're going to reverse it, and you're going to make this about you and how we're restricting your freedom. And that's what that's what happens to game developers, right? Essentially, this is what happened with Pokemon. Pokemon game developers were under crunched and didn't have the time to put in all the video game characters because there's fucking thousands of them, right? And they're like, let's thank the video game developers, but then now, like, as soon as the newer Pokemon video games come out, there's gonna be some hate for the video game devs. Like, there's already been hate for about that Pokemon MOBA shit. So, Dude, I don't know. I think it's toxic, and I think like I'm almost done with Pokemon as a person. And Sword and Shield, that's the Pokemon game that broke my love for the series, honestly. It was so blatantly capitalist, it was so blatantly fucking out there. I fucking hate the Pokemon Company. I love Game Freak, but the Pokemon Company, if I can give you any fucking advice as some kind of fucking nerd who is literally in hell in essentially like her big ass sweater, here's what I'm going to tell you. Now listen up, Pokemon Company. If you want to make more fans to sell more merchandise, you need to make a fucking good video game. Stop releasing the same game every single time. Evolve. Put something new. If you're going to make something out of this, you need to make something out of this. If you want people to buy more of your merchandise, you have to make a good game, and that is my advice. Make a fucking good game. Actually make it, then you got it, and then you can sell as much merch as you want. You could have TV shows. You could have whatever. You could have a gritty reboot of Pokemon, like where Ash Ketchum is 31 years old and has already won every single championship ever because, you know, he still looks like a 10-year-old, but he's 30, for fuck's sake. Like, you could do whatever you want, and people who love the video games will support you. But you're not going to do that. You know why? Because capitalism has stolen your creativity, has stolen your soul, and you just worship the almighty dollar rather than being the Pokemon game freak that I knew when I was a kid that wanted to make a JRPG that was worth having. And that's why I will probably not buy Pokemon in the near future. And it makes me upset because I love Pokemon. Like I said, I express love for this. And I love the devs that put their work into it, that literally grind their soul into dust to give us Pokemon. But fuck you, Pokemon Company. And fuck you for making me go on this literal 15-minute rant, you fucking fucklers. That's
So,
Jesus. Okay. You have any
Pokemon
comments
Snap?
there? You have any comments there, my guy, Robinson?
Pokemon Snap is fun because it's made by a different publisher.
It is. It is. And it's great. But you guess what? Pokemon Snap doesn't have 30 of the same game. There's only one other Pokemon Snap, and that's the one from Nintendo 64. Right?
I was just gonna bring up, like, all I had to bring up to say I was disappointed was, so they said that Pokemon wouldn't have all the Pokemon because they were spending too much time on new animation and better models, but if it was proven they just used the same models from Pokemon Sun and Moon.
They did. Like all of the, what is it? Girlfriend Reviews pointed this out, right? That they use the same models of like who's the other guy in it? The nerd that tries to be your friend but you fucking hate his guts. In Sword and Shield, he's like, my brother is the best that there ever was.
Oh, Hop. Hop, yeah.
Hop. Dude, Hop has the same animations as someone from Pokemon Sun. Like, it's literally there. Like, I know asset flipping is a thing, because assets take a long time to develop. But, Jesus, could you be any more blatant about it? Right? So yeah. Is there anything else that you disagree with me on this? Am I wrong in any of my rant about why?
I never disagreed with you. I just say play Pokemon Snap. It's a nice Pokemon experience, and I hope Pokemon Arceus breaks the mold.
No, and that's what I'm trying to talk about, right? Is that I'm hoping that Pokemon actually fucking does like their job and do what they need to, because it's a series that I know that we both love. Like, it was the series, like I said in my rant, when I was legitimately in 1997, I was 7 years old and I had the flu. I didn't know anything about fucking Pokemon. My mom felt really bad for me that I was stuck in my bed for 2 weeks without any like entertainment, because this was the 90s. Like, it was 1997, so there was no like portable Switch or other video game thing that you could really have. My mom went to a Best Buy or some kind of, was it Best Buy or Circuit City? It was one of those places. And went in and went to the video game thing and asked the guy what she could get from me. And he said a Pokemon Red video game and she bought me a motherfucking Game Boy. And it was like,
That's so
from
nice.
that on, that's like one of my most prized memories is my mom coming back as a fucking 7-year-old and giving me essentially like the first hit of my JRPG love affair. Like, I love Bravely Default. I love Dragon Quest. I love all of these games. I hate Final Fantasy because Final Fantasy is a poor man's Dragon Quest. And I know, and we both know someone who would be very offended about that. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, right? The person who dressed up as a partial furry. Yeah. Obviously, like, I legitimately believe that Pokemon deserves better. They deserve better. They do. They fucking deserve better. So, it just that's what happens to all good products, right? They become infatuated and they even become corrupted by this sense of money, by this sense of just trying to earn things, and that's what happens, and that's what's happening to Pokemon.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah, as trite as that saying is, from none other than then the guy that we were just talking about is like a more competent M. Night Shyamalan.
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan. But still, Christopher Nolan's a decent enough person that when he has passion for his work, it really does show. When developers and when Pokemon give out a game that has passion for what it is, then it's a good game. Pokemon Snap, the new one that came out, you can tell that all the developers who worked on that Pokemon Snap were actual like fans of the series growing up, and they wanted to make something that kind of reflected how they experienced Pokemon Snap back in the day. It just it tears me up to see this intellectual property that is worth more than fucking Harry Potter go into the toilet. So, yeah, dude, I don't know. Like, I think Sword and Shield was one of the worst games that Pokemon had ever put out. Like, Sun and Moon were better, honestly. They were better. Like, the whole reason I bought a Nintendo 3DS was because I wanted to play a new Pokemon game. And Sun and Moon was great. It was awesome. I actually liked it because I hadn't played the games in a long time, right? So I had a break. And they still had that kind of like, you know, the same turn-based system. But then again, that's not going to bother me because I'm a fucking JRPG person. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to stop because I've been fucking talking for like, what, now 20 minutes or something about Pokemon and my rant? So
20 minutes, yeah.
Fuck. Okay, fine. I'm going to stop. So I'm going to stop. But like, is there any points, is there anything that I just went through in my rant that you want to comment on? Is there anything else that you want to say? Because there was a lot to take in, but Jesus, it's been boiling up in me and for a long time.
I'm glad you were able to get it out. Speaking of coming out, Nintendo Indie World.
Yeah? What about Nintendo Indie World? What's going on with them?
They released a direct.
They released it, okay.
Last Wednesday, yeah. And a bunch of indie games coming to the Switch. A few of them that I'm excited for is Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, a futuristic jet set radio game where you compete to be the top graffiti man on the world. Axiom Verge 2, a good Metrovania. Axiom Verge 1 was great. We'll see if Axiom Verge 2 can improve on that. Toem. Pokemon Snap meets Animal Crossing in a hand-drawn black and white world. Shovel Knight Pocket Edition. Shovel Knight the puzzle game. Shovel Knight Yacht Games is trying to like put Shovel Knight in every genre imaginable. They already dominate the 2D platformer. They got Shovel Knight Showdown for the 2D platform fighter, and now they're dipping their toes in puzzles.
Yeah.
Metal Slug Tactics. A tactics game reminiscent of XCOM, but with Metal Slug. So they got that stylicious animation that Metal Slug is known for. We got Boyfriend Dungeon. Now this one's interesting to me because it's a dating sim dungeon crawler.
But it's like for boys,
your weapons.
Right?
It's
for husbandos.
And I kind of like that. I haven't played the game, but it's like the rapier weapon
Yeah.
is like this guy dressed in a suit, like he's all elegant and fancy. A scimitar is like it's like Fabio. He's got his shirt open. I honestly just want to play it for the sword's personalities.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Gang Beast coming to Nintendo Switch, which I'm very happy for. Basically, the better version, the best wrestling game since WWE 2012. No, since SmackDown vs. Raw 2012 on the Wii. And Lumbearjack, a puzzle game where you're a bear who goes around destroying man-made objects to reclaim the forest.
Oh, okay. I mean, that sounds interesting.
So that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm excited about with Indie World.
Yeah.
Now, I was smiling during that entire rant.
What? Because you know that I'm not
so
wrong
much
in any
passion.
of this.
No.
I'm not wrong. I'm not. Like, I'm literally... You agree... You tacitly agree with me because you didn't interrupt me.
But I will say this. You weren't wrong, but are you racist?
No, dude.
Stanley. Are you not? No?
No.
Okay. Okay.
I have prejudice, but
Okay.
I'm not fucking racist. What the fuck, dude?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Warner Brothers Zombies just might be. So, have you
Oh.
heard about that? Have you heard about that game, Back for Blood?
Yeah, it's like the Left 4 Dead, but they're rehashing it to something new, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's vampires. Probably
No,
vampires,
it's
zombies.
still
one of-
zombies. Yeah.
It's zombies. Okay. Okay, but yeah, it's being developed by Warner Brother Games. They're in beta right now. Turns out that these zombies could be racist.
Oh shit. Okay, so let me know. What do? They throw out like the C word somewhere out there? They throw out like the
The N word.
the N word. Oh fuck. Okay.
So,
Yes,
so,
great. Wonderful. Thank
was-
you, America. Thank you for showing us that we too can make video games racist. Let's go. Yeah.
So it's not on purpose, according to the Warner Brothers, but we got two very popular videos right now. One on Twitter, Dahoma, at HOMBKE, post a video where he's just playing. A zombie says what seems to be N-word, and he goes, "What did he just say to me?" Same experience with Doto Doya at Doto Doya on Twitter. Same thing. He's just shooting, having fun. Here's the N-word. What did that zombie just say? So, it turns out that Warner Brothers actually responded. They came out with a statement saying that the sound in question isn't supposed to be what it sounds like. This is going to be verbatim. Our team has been made aware of offensive language that can be heard when playing the game. This was not recorded or ever intended to be part of the gameplay. The audio is a result of two different ridden is what the zombies are being called, ridden growls that are playing simultaneously and when heard together sound like that world. We are working diligently to fix the issue. So basically what's going on is one zombie goes right?
Yeah.
Basic zombie sound. The other zombie goes
Yeah.
You put those together and boom.
Then you get 400 years of racism. That's what you get.
Yo, since they're zombies, they might have been alive when saying that was like the norm.
You just got a
What
bunch
on
of boomers as zombies just running around.
And I honestly believe Warner Brothers, because these are the only two videos I have been able to find of the zombies, slurring at the player. So I honestly do believe that this is just an honest mistake where two voice clips were unfortunately played at the same time. So we'll see what they do to fix that.
Okay.
And that actually isn't the only story we have this week of AI being
Racist?
not racist, but BMing.
Oh.
Bad manners. So, if I ask you to talk about Halo, at one point you're going to think about teabagging, right?
Yeah, that's like it's one of those rites of passages, right? It's like your Halo bar mitzvah.
Absolutely. You get that sick kill, you run somebody over with the Warthog, you get Master Chief, and you put your nutsack on the enemy's face.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yep.
And if you're a lady, instead of teabagging, we call it the taco drop.
Taco drop. Great. Love it.
So
Love it. Okay.
It turns out in the Halo Infinite beta, we can see that bots have been teabagging players. Like if a bot kills you, there's a chance that they will spread their seed all over your Spartan helmet. And that would just be funny, right? That would just be like a 1 sentence thing. Turns out that Microsoft actually made a response, and the response is one of the funniest things I've heard in my life.
Huh. Yeah.
Because
What's their,
course,
what's their thing? What do they say?
so real quick, teabagging, you don't want to get teabagged. It's a sign that you sucked. The other guy, he killed you, you sucked.
Dude,
so now you're gonna
I think
taste these globes.
I think they know what teabagging is. I think most of the people who watch our show is they know that. Yeah.
So we don't want that in the training. We don't want mean AI. As Microsoft says, bots are primarily a part of Halo Infinite to help other players learn and experiment with the multiplayer experience. We want players to feel comfortable making mistakes against bots, because making mistakes means you're improving and working on skills you haven't mastered yet. We never want to punish learning, especially not by having bots engage in behaviors that a player could feel is exclusionary.
Wow. Okay. But that's like the whole thing, though. Like if like Microsoft like they don't understand, right? Is that Xbox back in the day was like the Wild West of voice chat. It was essentially like the first time I'd actually heard the N-word in organic conversation was when I played like Halo on the Xbox 360, and I was just like, oh shit, this is not great. And I just remember being kind of apprehensive about that in general. But yeah.
I was too young to understand what it meant. To me, people threw it around so many times I didn't even realize it was a bad word, so I didn't want to say it. But I just think that it's hilarious that Microsoft was like, no, we don't want to bully the unexperienced players by having the robots rub their magnet chips all over their faces.
Dude, I mean, I think it actually adds a little bit of charm. Like, I understand that, like, it's basically the video game version of sexual assault, but... like, I mean, come on, right? That's what it is essentially, right? Is you're also committing, I mean, it's a dead body too, so you're also committing necrophilia too on top of that. But hey, yes, yes. Now, the other part about this that I don't understand is that they had to apologize for this when it's an open beta, right? The whole point of beta is to find these things. Isn't that?
Yeah,
isn't that because, like, remember, I'm stupid when it comes to video game development, right? That's not my field of expertise, and you're someone who's actually going to college for this shit, right?
I don't have this verbatim, but this is what what's part of the response is that what's really going on is the pathfinding of the AI, and for some reason, for like 5 or 3 seconds after killing somebody, the Pathfinder is trying to find like the optimal path to go next, and it just starts crouching for some reason during that pathfinding experience, because what it could be is it's going under stuff, or it's like planning out sprints and slides, but it's activating way too early. So the bot will just teabag for a good 2 seconds before running away.
Right. Okay. All right. All right. So at least they know what's wrong with it, right? And they can try to fix it before the whole thing comes out. But still, like I said before, like if people are getting really offended by this, like I think they need to chill out a bit, because this is literally the beta.
You can't play Halo. You smack people with hammers until they die.
Because fuck, what is it? I think I was playing Baldur's Gate, right? And it was one of those of, there was one time I think there was one of the characters just like did something appropriate, and then I remembered that the game was basically an alpha, right? So, that game's been in alpha for fucking ever, but still, like that's the whole point, is that you report it and then you move on, right? I don't know. I can't tell you. I just don't really have an opinion about this. I don't think it's a big deal, man. Like,
It's not. I just really love, and I finally figured out that the developer 343. I just think it's so funny that 343 gave such an apologetic, apologetic response instead of being like, "Yo, that's hilarious. Hey, the game's in beta. We're gonna fix that." They were like, "We are so sorry, and we do not want to shame new players by sexually assaulting them on camera."
yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't
I
know.
just can't believe that response. I honestly can't believe the response because Warner Brothers did it right. It's Warner Brothers game. Instead of being like super apologetic, they were like, "Yo, that's not supposed to happen. This is what's happening. We're gonna make sure it doesn't happen again."
Damn. Damn. Okay. Yeah. That's. Hey, whatever. Right. At least they're on the right track. I mean, still, I don't know. I don't know. I
These
can't say.
zombies got to get more progressive.
Those zombies got to get past the 1950s. I know George A. Romero was their first breakthrough, but my guys, yo, come on. Interesting to note though that the Night of the Living Dead was one of the first like movies that had like an actual black protagonist, like someone who is actually not just like an Uncle Tom kind of thing. So, hey, that's progressive. But I'm sure some of those extra zombies on set probably secretly said the N-word about the actor behind his back. Who knows? It was the 1950s, or was it the 60s that George A. Romero came out with that? I don't know. Still. Film history from the United States is basically racism everywhere. So,
Oh yeah,
100%.
just as it should be. Nah, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. That was a joke.
Yeah, yes, hopefully that's a joke. I mean, you were asking me about being racist. Are you sure that wasn't projection, Robinson?
Oh, a little bit of a Freudian slip.
A little bit of something. That's a little...
I recently learned what that meant, so I'm happy I was able to use it in an organic conversation.
Oh, you mean Freudian slip?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's like a self-report.
It means to accidentally project something onto somebody else.
Yeah, 100%. I'm sure I did that all in my Pokemon rant, so whatever.
Literally a fucking snake.
Yeah.
So you said your Pokemon profile is Gengar?
Yeah, I love Pokemon. I love Gengar, right? Gengar's my favorite, man.
I keep bouncing around between like 5 Pokemon.
Which ones?
And those would be Halucha, of course.
Yeah?
The Mexican bird Pokemon. We got Machamp, who is me, but in real life. We got Snorlax, who was me, but 1 year ago.
Dude, I think Snorlax is still a bunch of people.
We got Mudkip, who was my first starter, and I will love him forever. And a Hooper, because he's just so goddamn stupid. He has no arms, and he smiles all the time.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, and Incineroar, my Smash Ultimate main. Basically John Cena.
John Cena, you can't see him. Dude, alright, well...
Incineroar.
Incineroar, yeah. Man, I need to save my rants for the end, because now I'm, like, tired again. Ugh. Okay.
Well, good thing we're tired, because this podcast is now officially over. Stanley, do you have anything left to say?
Dude, I don't know. I'm going back to school tomorrow. I'm just trying to figure out how to maximize what little hours of summer I actually get. So
I understand. I get work tomorrow, and school is starting up for me in a bit too. So,
yeah,
that's gonna be difficult. But folks, thank you so much for listening to 2 pretty angry people talking about racism, war, and Pokemon.
Yeah.
And we just want to thank you with a big Pokemon Company. You can go to hell.
Yeah? Yeah, fuck you, Pokemon Company. Go straight to hell.